I'm a pastor who regularly doubts whether or not God exists. So why am I here? The answer is something really important that a lot of people just don't know. Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm a deep skeptic, also a pastor. All right, so actually one of the reasons that I'm still here is because of science. And that might sound counterintuitive because the evangelicals like to pit faith against science, but that's just not the way it works. Here's a really great book called The Awakened Brain by Lisa Miller. And it is a brilliant work of science where she has deep dived into religion and spirituality and the effects that it has on our life. And here's the thing. You can be religious without being spiritual. You can be spiritual without being religious. But when you feel like you have some sort of connection with God and the universe, really interesting things happen in your life. Don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about some sort of like miraculous money that shows up in your mailbox or anything like that. I'm talking about the measures that people have, that sociologists, psychologists use to determine whether or not you have a life that you're enjoying. Those measures go up like a lot. And I'm not gonna tell you the whole book. You should definitely read it. But like, for example, in teenagers who had like a deep sense of spirituality, they were 35 to 75% less likely to suffer from clinical depression. That's huge. And it didn't matter if it was like Christian spirituality or Buddhist spirituality. That's not the thing. What mattered was that people had beliefs and practices that helped them connect with God. And so that's a huge part of me because I believe in science, and even when I'm not sure if God exists, I am sure that spiritual practices and practices that help me connect with the divine or the universe or whatever, those things have drastically positive impacts on my life and on the life of other people. And so that's why not only do I sort of stay engaged with myself, that's why I'm here, because I believe that the science is accurate, that when people have spiritual beliefs and practices that work for them, their lives are actually better. That's not the only reason, there's one more. And this is my other reason. All of these books, I've got lots of books. I've got even more books on my Kindle. I've got all of these books about religion and spirituality. They all say different things. Many of them disagree with each other. Some people call other people heretics, like people call me a heretic. And this is there's all kinds of space for spirituality, for questioning, for finding your own beliefs. And they don't have to be the same as everybody else, because look at all these different people, and that's not even close to all of the ways that you could think about God and about spirituality. And so whenever I'm not sure if God exists, or if I'm not sure that something in the Bible is right, or any of that kind of stuff, I just kind of like look back at my books and I'm like, oh yeah, there's a lot of different opinions, and maybe I just haven't found the right one yet. And then the last thing is, I just really feel that doubt and questions are a part of faith. And if you aren't doubting and you aren't questioning, then it might mean that you aren't seriously engaging in your faith or your spiritual life. And that's okay if you're in a season where that can't be a priority. But questions and doubts are okay. And if God exists, then God has to be big enough to handle our doubts and questions. And if that can't happen, then God isn't that big. And if God isn't that big, then it's probably not worth wasting a lot of time on. Except that for those of you who engage, your life is better. And it's just science. So that's what I'm here for. I want to help you find religious beliefs, spiritual beliefs and practices that work for you. That means beliefs and practices that help you become the greatest version of yourself, and beliefs and practices that help you find a purpose greater than yourself. Those things, those personal connection kind of things, are what matters.